Before this video gets started, I just want to say, if any one of my close friends are watching this and they're seeing me wearing this shirt, okay, I get it. It's a Rich Brian official merch. Okay, I get it. I talk about him like 24/7, 365 every time when we hang out together. But I get it. Okay, I know y'all gonna be like, why are you wearing another Rich Brian merch? Just okay. Anyhow, welcome to another episode in season 1. How are you guys doing so far? Are you guys enjoying the season? I hope you are. Yeah. This video will be the first p5.js example video where I'll be making a yin-yang spinning. I hope you guys will learn a thing or two after this video ends, and let's get started. As you can see here on my screen, I have 2 empty functions right now, and as explained in the first video of the p5.js series, I have the setup and the draw function, which are the 2 basic functions in a p5.js program. Now, to do a spinning yin-yang in p5.js, you have to first think about what are you going to do, and second of all, where are your circles within the yin-yang are going to go. When it comes to circles, you also need to think about arcs and angles. So for me, when I approach this, I would first think about, my angle, so like my degree. And I am going to put my angle mode in P5 to be in degrees. I always forget this little semicolon here, but it's a JavaScript program, so I have to write it to signify the end of a statement. If you guys have ever programmed in JavaScript before, you would know that, for example, if you put a custom function within the draw function, you'll be able to have your custom function within that draw function. So let's say, for example, my custom function would be named yin-yang, and within my yin-yang function, I would have console log hi. And since I already set my Google Chrome browser up to be live server with the live server extension, when I go to inspect it, I should get hi back. Yes, hi back. Now, the reason why hi is being called so many times is because every time when hi is being called, it's being called in the draw function, which every time the program is called, that's how many times the console log will call hi. Let me make the canvas a little bit bigger, so more space. And within my draw function, I would want to set my background to be a light gray color. The reason why I want to set it as a light gray color is because if you look at the yin-yang, right, you would know that the yin-yang would be in black and white. Or if you want to make it colorful, then color, it's up to you. So my browser is already white. If I have a white background, I wouldn't be able to see the yin-yang spinning at the end. That's why I have my background to be in a light gray color. Now, when I approach this program, I would want to first just get all of my circles in the yin-yang. There are 4 main circles. So the large, the larger circle, you would have an arc, and then you would have a white and a black circle, and within that white and a black circle will be a smaller inner white and a black circle. So I would just want to have all of my circles and my arc drawn first before I even begin making it spin. When I draw anything in p5.js, I want to leave myself a little comment here. So if me in 5 or 6 weeks time, open up this program again, I would be like, oh, that's, that right there is the big circle. And so within my big circle, I would have not a file list. This always happens. My autocorrect, in p5.js, when I say fill, it always goes to file list. I don't know why, but yeah. Let me spell ellipse properly. So ellipse in p5.js is a circle, and I would want to make the x and y of that ellipse to be 250 and 250, and the height and the width to be 240 and 240. You can refer yourself to the p5.js documentation, which is the reference, and you would be able to have the ellipse as the reference. So as you can see here, it's the x and the y coordinate of that ellipse, and then you would have the width and the height of that ellipse as well. And the height here would be optional, so you don't really have to put the height in, but I just like the height being in there. Now, the thing with p5.js is, for example, if you have the fill black, the color black first, and then you type the color white in afterwards, the canvas would draw the color white instead of the color black. It's just the order of where you are placing your statement in is super important in p5.js. And as you can see, that's the prime example of ordering your statements so that it's logical. Now onto the arc. The arc is a bit difficult in the way that it's also just an ellipse, but at the same time, as you can see here, there are different ways of drawing an arc. You can draw like a pie chart. You can even do, these type of arcs here. And it goes into like quarter pi and all that stuff. Which I think that if you are at this point confused about anything, the reference is your go-to place, and you can just search up any methods that I'm working on that you might be confused, and they will have a detailed explanation of what that specific method means. And so I'm going to do the arc. X and Y, 250, 250. And the other reason why I originally set my canvas to be 500 and 500 is because it aligns well with the yin-yang within the canvas. And I think it's pretty spaced out evenly. Now with the arc, you have, 240, 240, and let's see. So X and Y, width and height, start and stop. That's the important bit, because you would want your yin-yang to spin, and the arc has the start and the stop number. So the start number would indicate that the angle to start the arc, and it's specified in radians. However, degrees. I'm not too comfortable with working in radians, so that's why I chose degrees. Now, if you want to make your arc do the animation every time the draw function is being called, you can declare a variable, and you can have your little comment up here, and your variable to be the start angle of the arc, and the end angle of the arc would be 270, and have it to be here, to be called in here. And then if you want to animate it, you've just made your arc to spin, which is a quarter way there to be spinning perfectly. Let's do the first big, large white circle. Now, with the white circle, it will be 255, and that's the fill color of the white circle. The ellipse, let's just not worry about spinning the circles first. Let's just worry about getting the circles into the canvas. I would, again, have 250 to be the X and Y, and to have my width and my height of the circle would be 120 and 120. So perfectly in the center. Same thing with the black circle, the black big circle. Before, when I was working on this example, before filming this video, I realized that if I have no stroke for the big black circle, it would look pretty neat because the white circle already, blends perfectly well with the large circle outside here. So no stroke. The fill color will be stored as in black, and to have the ellipse to be similar to the black to the bigger white circle. Don't worry, it looks very bad right now, but I'll soon be moving it to its respective area. Now let's do the smaller inner circle. White small circle, and to have my fill again to be in 255, and to have my ellipse within 250, since it's smaller, so 40 and 40, and there you go. And the black small circle fill to be 0. Now with the fill, again, you can always refer back to the reference. Fill method, it's in, you have different color mode. You can set your color mode, and you can also use the RGB values for your fill, or you can even name it, call it red or hexadecimal. So there's a lot of different variations that you can make, but I'm just going to stick with the basic black and white spinning yin-yang. And then have my ellipse to be 250, and 40 and 40. And that right there is the very basic of my yin-yang. Now, to make it spin, that's the hard bit. The question is now, how do I put the inner circles to be in its respective areas? So the the bigger black circle be in the white area, and also at the same time it matches with the speed of the arc. Now let's start with the white circle first. Now, if you guys have been developing, projects using JavaScript for a little bit, you would probably have come across the difference between a const, or like a constant value, and a let. Now, I'm not too sure if they have it here. Oh, yeah, they do. So the difference between the constant and a let variable when you're creating a new constant is that if you're using the word const right here, so when it is being created, you cannot change it. In other words, the constants cannot be reassigned once they're declared. So if you think it like this, right, when you're using const, you're saying that that specific variable must constantly be that specific instance. But for like a let, for example, you can always reassign it with something else. When you're thinking about a circle, right, what would be the constant value of that circle? The radius. You cannot change the radius of a specific circle when you're creating that circle. You can change the angle, the speed, the x and y coordinate of that circle once it's being created, but you cannot change the radius. So the radius of that circle shall always stay the same. Why am I talking about the radius of a circle? It will be super handy in about a few minutes time when you're changing the x and the y coordinates of the circle. You have to get the sign or the cos of that specific circle. let's have the white, the white radius would be 60. And the angle would be 270. The speed, as you can see here, I've declared the speed of the arc. Again, the inner circle, the speed of its rotating depends on the speed of the arc. So if I declared the speed of the arc down here to be 1, the inner circle speed would be 1 as well. So, and then now let me explain why. When you're rotating, right, you're just essentially changing the x and the y position of that circle on that canvas. So all you're really changing is the x and the y and the angle and also its speed. So have another variable down here. Let me type this out before I explain to you what I'm doing. Ooh, so it's a bit off. So I've got the white circle to spin. Now let me explain to you what I just did. In terms of changing the position of the x and the y coordinates of the circle, I'm just creating a new variable here, would be the x and the y. And within that variable, I set it to be equal to the constant position of the x and the y coordinates. And then I added the radius times the radius and times the cos of the y angle, which is 270. Now, if you have done math before, which I'm pretty sure most of you guys have, the order of precedence will be p5’s. So parenthesis, exponent, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. So within this, I would have the radius to be times by the cosine of the y angle, and then add it with the constant x coordinates of the circle. And then the same logic would apply for the y. So I'm just changing the position of the y in relations to the speed, which is 1 here, which was the speed of the arc. And that's how every time when the draw function is being called, you would see the white circle to be changed. And at the same time, if you really think about it, the new position of the white circle depends on the angle of the arc, the start and the end angle of the arc. So see that? Pretty neat, huh? Now for the rest of the circle, it's pretty much the same logic. So I'm just gonna speed the video up just a little bit when I finish the black large circle. It's a bit off, specifically right here. I wonder what's going on. Ah, I see. It's supposed to be 90. That's right. Ah, God. Oh, well. The start angle of my arc was wrong, was a bit off. I put 50 here when it should be 90 because for the black large circle specifically, it would be 90. So, apologies for that. If you guys were, screaming behind your monitor and be like, why didn't you see that? I apologize. I sincerely apologize. Now, in regards to the inner white and the inner black circles, same logic. And I'm just gonna speed forward until I finish, declaring all the necessary variables for my white inner and then my black inner circles. The good thing about coding on VS Code, if you guys haven't noticed yet, is, for example, if I'm working on a p5.js video or project or program or whatever I'm working on, when I declare a let variable, it has this color, but when I declare a constant variable, it has the darker color. I'm pretty sure it's just to tell the difference. So it will be like, oh, you can change this variable, but you cannot change this variable. I might be wrong. If you guys know why, do let me know in the comment down below. But again, I might be wrong. So don't quote me on that, okay? In regards to changing the X and the Y position of the white and the black small inner circles, it's pretty much the same logic. Ta-da! During the process of, creating and using variables, you guys would have noticed throughout this video, I've made some minor mistakes. It's super important for you guys to know that when you're using or declaring a variable, make sure that you're using a logical name that is suitable for whatever you're working on, and the description of that variable is logical and it's applicable, so that you guys don't make mistakes, especially when you're working on a super massive app development project and you guys are, using complicated or manipulating complicated, databases or data types. Super important that you guys are using, variables that are easily understood by just anybody looking at your programs. I know that I made a mistake earlier when I said white enter angle or speed, or was it the black? I'm not too sure now, but I quickly realized it where I made the mistake and go back to it and just changed it. Also, it's just the position of where you're placing your variables and where you are calling your functions and stuff. The order and the logical flow of your web editor or your programs should be logical enough for you to just go back to it very quickly and fix the mistake. Especially when you're debugging on a large project, it's super convenient for you if you're setting up the flow of your program to be easily understood. That's just my message throughout this video. But other than that, we've made a Spinning Yin-Yang. I'm pretty proud of it. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this video and learn a thing or two. All of the code will be in my GitHub in the video's descriptions down below. But yeah, other than that, stay safe, everybody, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, take care. Bye.